Well, well. Fancy meeting you here, Lord Pilimon.
You look radiant as always. We must speak soon. I hope you didn't...
What's this? Why would you need to speak in such hushed tones? If I didn't know any better, I'd say you were conspiring. I hear that you, my noble sister, whose mother is the lawful queen and not a concubine, have recently discovered the allure of a sumptuous cake, crowned with berries, that you may wish to make for yourself.
Don't be silly, brother. I'm a novice baker. You're aware of that. Such a confection is far outside my reach.
And you, my lord, as I recall, you've always been one to save the berry on top to savor at the very end. And as such, you've often had it snatched out from under your nose before you've had so much as a taste. You're a grown man, Lord Pilemon. It's high time you decided for yourself to whom you cede that berry.
Why, of course it is. And to whom else but you, Prince Kerpel?
Ariel, do let me hear that lovely singing voice of yours again sometime. That's the only reason you ever need to take to the public stage.
What's good, anime enthusiasts? Welcome to yet another episode review for Mushoku Tensei. Season 1 is done, long gone. We're not going to put it past us just yet. We're going to hang on to it just for a moment as we move into Season 2. Because, I'm not going to lie to y'all, me and JD, we're going to have some thoughts, opinions, and critiques about what we've seen thus far. But first and foremost, I'm doing good, especially on this Father's Day. Happy Father's Day. Well, it will be past by the time this episode goes up, but for all the fathers, especially anime fathers out there, happy Father's Day. You guys are doing great. Appreciate y'all.
Yeah, man. Happy Father's Day to y'all. It's good to see all y'all. Make sure everybody types fuck Paul Greyrat in the chat, just so we're aware that he is not included in this congratulatory message.
Oh yeah. Oh my god. Oh my god. I forgot my favorite character's name in the other season. The horse guy. Happy Father's Day to you, bud. You're doing great. You're the better than Paul.
Yeah, good job, Yasha. We love you, bro.
We're not gonna do so much on the comments. Well, honestly, love you guys for like commenting and giving your opinions and actually giving us some insights and other things. Really appreciate every single one of you. And even though I haven't commented on the previous episode's comments, I plan to do that at some point as we really want to get into season 2 and what is going on. But before that, I do want to address something that someone was bugging me, right? About season 1 and episode 24, that OVA. Looking into it, I found out that the original airtime for Mushoku Tensei, actually for both seasons, actually split into 2 parts, to where episodes 1 through 11 were first released in January 11th, 2021, and then it moved on to March 22nd, and then the second part for the other episodes from October all the way into December. Episode 24, this OVA, was a bonus episode released in March of 2022, and then we get season 2 starting in July of 2023, heading into September for the first part, and then April of next year, 2024, ending in July. So while we aren't getting that split, it kind of puts into perspective on how people kind of feel about the anime itself, and also how weirdly positioned the OVA is, which I don't want to say it's unplanned, but it kind of feels like we really didn't need it, or if they really thought about it, we really should have had it actually, after episode 16, which kind of justifies my opinion a little bit more. But, again, we're not on the team, we're not on the storyboarders, so we don't know about that. And I'll talk more about episode 0 when we actually talk about that, because that placement is also, you can have your opinion and critique on how it's placed, because it kind of clashes with what season 2 is all about.
No, definitely hard agree. I think episode 0 for season 2 should probably have been in season 1. And this is the thing with all the OVA episodes. They don't necessarily fit perfectly into the slot they have on Crunchyroll, with the episode 0 being at the start and episode 24, was it, being like placed at the very tail end, right? I think if it was reordered in any other way, it would keep our expectations sort of neutral on them. But with their current placement, it makes it seem just a little bit out of left field. Even though there are, at base, very interesting episodes. They're like awesome.
Yeah, honestly, I hand it over to y'all in the comments below. Tell me what y'all felt about how season 1 ended, and then waiting a year later for episode 24 to come out. You have that little bit of nugget of information, and then you have to wait a whole nother year in order to get to season 2. Like, how did it feel? What were you feeling? Like, did it add anything to anything? I know for sure all of you reading the light novel were okay about it, because you already know what's ahead. You already knew the structure of everything. But for only those people who only watch the anime, like, how did it feel to just have like some like a nugget that may or may not have helped, or just giving you something? Like, sure, it's all about errors, but realistically, it added in so much more to the overall story that you're kind of feeling like, okay, where does this fit? How do we go from here? What do we need to focus on? Is Cliff gonna matter? Is his second princess gonna matter? Is this whole blessed child thing gonna matter? Who really knows? But speaking of the second princess, JD, episode 0, Guardian Fits. So while we call this an OVA, and it does feel like an OVA, the way it's like structured into season 2, as it is like we'll say like the prologue, the prelude to the entire season, and it's kind of like not tacked on, but it's a whole story that's encased in its own, and it has nothing to do with Rudeus. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. And then episode 1 focuses on Rudeus after episode 23, and we continue on from there. What is happening in Guardian Fits? Well, the beginning is like somebody just waking up in bed, but the important thing is that Sylvie is falling through the air. This is happening straight after Sylvie got teleported, and she is attempting to do anything and everything to save herself, while she's fearing for her life, and her hair is somehow turning white instead of staying green. On the ground, we have 3 characters that are having the time of their life in this simple garden. Nothing's gonna happen, right? We have Luke and Derek, these bodyguards to the second princess, Ariel. Then they're talking, and we know that Ariel now has 2 older brothers and an older sister, and she can't really ascend to the throne while they're still alive. And she's kind of content with living as she pleases while she's like eating some sweets. Then their whole little garden party gets crashed by this giant warthog. Unfortunately, her bodyguards are not the strongest, as they do get bodied. But there's a savior from the air, as the elf Sylvie comes crashing down, sort of accidentally, and saving all 3 of them. Sylvie then just lies unconscious. Next scene, Sylvie is waking up, and now we know where we are. We are in the royal palace of Ashura, of the Ashura kingdom. We're at the tip of the top, and Sylvie is just speaking with Ariel, and she tells Ariel a story. Important detail that Ariel tells Sylvie about what happened to Victoria and how it's gone. Second princess said that Sylvie can also be punished for trespassing because, you just came in. So the princess is like, yo, put on these shades. We're going to give you a new identity. What is the new identity? Sylvie is now Fitz, a male bodyguard for the second princess. That actually matters. Next scene, in the scene today, as Fitz is brushing the princess's hair, the princess is going to give her itinerary. She's going to mingle in the Great Hall and meet with Lord Palmon afterwards in the afternoon, who is also Luke's father. We get to the Great Hall. Ariel walks in, talks to people, and her older brother, Grabel, rolls up. And her older brother is just straight dissing, just talking smack and everything. It is your typical noble, haughty-toddy nonsense. But it actually makes sense, as Grabel is like undermining the princess and just butting in on her plans somehow, some way. Afterwards, during the whole thing, the major thing he tells is like, hey, my little noble sister, why don't you go sing? As that's the only reason why you need to take the public stage. Crazy. Afterwards, Grabel talks in private with this bald-headed dude, who we now know is Darius, about Silent Fits. Luke, and when we switch scene, we'll hand over to Luke and Fitz. Luke is telling Fitz to, keep it together, as Fitz is wobbling. They're not really used to all of this standing and bodyguarding. As all the peanut gallery is talking, Fitz can hear everything, and Fitz is getting overwhelmed by the commentary. And so Fitz kind of takes a knee, getting tired. Cover is almost blown, but thanks to Ariel singing and captivating everyone, Fitz is cool, Fitz is spared. The three of them reconvene, they talk for a little bit, and then night drops. Sylphie's having a nightmare. Unfortunate. Next day, Palmon and Ariel have their little talk. It seems like they're making some headway into gaining some favor or influence in key areas or with key groups. After that, while Fitz is getting accustomed to the noble and bodyguard life, there hasn't been any progress or much progress at all in trying to find Sylphie's friends and family. To, reconcile that, Ariel is like, hey, Sylphie, come to my chambers and we'll share a bed. Before we get to that, there's a theory of the performance. During so, now it's the evil side. Darius and Palmon, they're having a discussion on Ariel and what she's been doing and what influence she has been building up. Like, Ariel has some agents in certain places, and even though there's not so much as influence in those places, if there was somehow a coup or there's some unrest, then those people can easily go to Ariel, as Ariel isn't front facing or part of any of the problems. And so Darius and Palmon are like, yo, let's get a little scheme going. Now we get to the bedchamber scene. It's not that bad. I want to say this is mostly fan service without reading the chapter in the novel, but nah, it doesn't really go anywhere. It's mostly Ariel just teasing Sylphie, and once that's settled, it's a bonding moment between the both of them. Ariel's like, I've been having nightmares about that moment to where that monster almost killed Derek, but the monster killed Derek in my dreams and then killed me. But because of you coming in and saving me, I kind of owe you my life and I'm relying on you. And it's just them coming together. Sylphie's happy, Ariel's happy. Nice. They go to sleep. There's an assassin, and Sylphie notices it, and Sylphie springs into action. Cool little action sequence of Sylphie cat using her wind magic without saying incantations to get some good defense in and managing to blast the assassin out of the room and window. After passing out, we move to the next day to learn that the assassin is called the Night-Eyed Hawk, claiming the many lives of nobles. But with this, Palmon says that, okay, now we know that there's enemies in place and they're making some moves. Hey Ariel, why don't you flee this place under the pretext of studying? I know this might be bad, but time will come to where you can actually act. And so Ariel kind of agrees. Ariel then attempts to relieve Sylphie of the mage bodyguard duties, saying that, I'm sorry, I forcibly recruited you because of the circumstances and I used you. And even though I was unable to help you find your family issues, I can't really continue to force you to do this. Sylphie's like, nah, we're friends. I'm gonna do this on my own free will. I'm going with you. And so with that, Ariel has a resolve to become Azura's sovereign. I love this episode. I enjoy drama and a little bit of political, not uprising, but taking hold back and forth. I really enjoy this. And I hate to say it, but man, if you did not read the light novel, this Darius guy coming in and knowing him just feels so weird. But at the same time, it's a little cool to like now properly have names to faces, and we can go back to the previous episode to where Saros' trial to see, okay, we now know that the second princess, Ariel, we know one of the princes, Grabel, was there. So this really seems like this is like Darius and Grabel's scheme to take off Saros. And not only does Sophie know, but Ariel knows. But we still need to figure out who the other side is on the balconies. So this is like a nice connection back to that, so we can go back and see.
No, definitely. This episode fleshes out a lot of that political intrigue that we'd like to see. I specifically wanted to call attention to the theater scene with Darius and the prince, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm still trying to parse it as we watch now. I'm wondering if there's some sort of foreshadowing in the play itself, because the anime goes out of its way to put subtitles for the background noise, right? Did you get any hints or anything out there? The only thing that strikes out to me is that they mention a spurred once, right? And that this is obviously about a murder that a person can't take back, right?
I didn't pay too much attention to the play, but if the easiest way to draw the connection is the play about the murder is really telling the tale of, somebody is about to get murdered or assassinated. And hey, Darius was feeling up the assassin. The assassin comes in next scene. It kind of just flows naturally that way.
Nah, word. That's probably true and fair. But this anime is so tricky, man.
No, I don't know. I won't. But no, I don't blame you. There might be something more to it. Well, I'll have to go back and take a few more notes on it and see if it comes back into play sometime later. But how do you feel about? I'm not gonna lie. I like the second princess. I like Ariel. It's just,
I'll shoot you straight. At first, I really didn't trust her. I think having Sophie come out of the sky to save you, and then you sort of blackmailing her under this pretense of, you'll get in more trouble if you don't just do what I say, right? That put a really bad taste in my mouth. And then there was that scene in the bedroom, she's playfully about to sleep with her, right? I don't know. I think up until the end, where she said, okay, I'm going to let you go because I can't actually help you, and I did sort of force you into this. I couldn't trust her. I just could not. And I'm still a little bit dubious about it. Specifically in regards to Luke and her, right?
Yeah. So here's the funny thing. I knew she was cool in the scene immediately after. Well, no. I knew she was cool before the scene because she is our lazy princess from Lock Horizon. Well, not really having the same vibe of laziness, but you get the telling that I'm just content with living as I am. That sounds interesting. That sounds very similar to somebody else that we know, doesn't it?
It does, bro. We need to get her a Krusty right now.
Krusty is Sophie.
That explains why Sophie is just so tough in this episode. I think she's just grown so much. I didn't think she'd be so cool so fast. Still trying to figure out what's up with their white hair, but
yeah, I don't know.
I can't complain.
I think I gotta look back at the first season and episode to see who her parents were again, to see if there's something odd there. Because I can't believe that her falling through the air, somehow the velocity makes her hair change color or something. I don't know. Or maybe there's some kind of curse that's being lifted, because if we remember that Rudeus has been doing so much, he cut his hair, but that doesn't make sense because hold on.
He's cooking in real time.
No. We have to go back to the first season for this. Hold on. Something's not right here. My dad is just a half elf. My hair color's different from my dad's and my mom's. Okay, that's it. Okay, the dad's a half elf. We don't know the race of the mother. So that doesn't say anything.
Yeah, I think we're just gonna have to like be out of luck until we get more information in the season.
Yes.
Okay, now that we're talking about it, the original opening for this episode, Soren, I gotta ask, bro, do you believe like an actual monster made it onto palace grounds just like randomly?
Oh, are you talking about contrived situations?
Bro, it's either contrived or it's gonna be revealed later as like some sort of plot, right? But there's just no fucking way.
It could be
now that I'm looking at it.
It could be that maybe Darius and Grabel, maybe they let loose a monster on the grounds and it happened. Or maybe where they are on the grounds is privy to monsters' attacks. I don't know, man. I don't know.
And then I think back to like how Daedric went down. Bro did nothing. He just got smacked. He was just like, second princess, be sure to take the crown after I die. Right here. I'm going to die right here, I guess. Right? Bro didn't put up a shield. He just stood. He was just like, okay, I'm dying here. It's cool.
Yeah, they did just accept death somehow.
Come on, man.
Luke got blindsided. Derek was ready to die. I mean, thanks Sylphie for coming in clutch, I guess.
I mean, that's my goat, Sylphie.
I was gonna say before I got distracted by Sylphie's hair, Paimon, do you think he's a snake?
Inconclusive for me. I think on some level, yes, absolutely, right? He has the ability to maneuver politically without causing too much of a stir, but this is also my first time getting to see him work, right? I think for now, he's on the good side of neutral.
Why does he want Eris to be his concubine?
I'd assume it's just to like secure that connection between like another gray rat branch, right?
Yeah. And you know what the thing is? I might be getting confused with another notice that's supposed to be despised. But if he is the one, then he's also supposed to be like despised as this lecture preferred guy of the notice branch. And I just don't see that. Well, it's not shown. Maybe off screen he's doing some like shady stuff, but I don't know. Honestly, season 2 is probably maybe like the theme of season 2. We're gonna have a lot more questions than we're gonna have in season 1.
No, definitely. But I will say they did a pretty good job setting up the ending of episode 0. I know you definitely remember the other two princes, Manitoba and his younger brother.
Yeah,
they were also Zenoba. Bro, I got them confused with Manbu from like, what's it called? Classroom of the Elite? Whatever, never mind. They're all going out from their country for education purposes, quote unquote, right? And so is the second princess of the Asura Kingdom now, right? So they have a pretty clear line to like get all these major political figures to meet up wherever, I guess.
True, yeah. And they did say that Ariel did say, okay, while I'm away, I'm gonna focus on making foreign connections. So there's that play. But speaking of Ariel, the one thing that's really is like maybe really distrusted in the beginning, how does she already know about Fitoa and the mass teleportation and disaster?
Actually, really true. Sylphie gave her the name of like a no-name village, right? And she automatically connected to say like, oh, okay, Buena Village, nobody place, right? Fitoa, Your place is destroyed, right?
Mhm.
Isn't that a little fast? That's really fast. How did she do that?
And so the answer immediately that I can come up with, maybe it, is because we don't know how long Sylphie was unconscious for. And we don't know if in that time Ariel did the research to figure out Victoria disappeared. That is the only way that we can logically, and the way the story has to flow, says how Ariel was quick enough to get that information, or how easily that information would have spread, right? Because if we think about it, once they teleport, is it a instant teleportation, or is it kind of like delayed? I'm assuming instant, because Sylphie had to go from like being on the ground to immediately being in the air. Aisha and her mother being immediately teleported into the water and them having to get out of the situation. I'm thinking instant. If instant, then how big of it did people know? Or who told who? That's pretty much it.
It's rough.
Yeah. Questions, but I don't know if we get those answers.
More to theorize on, yeah.
Yeah. But speaking of answers I really want, Rudeus. And season 2, officially. Episode 1, A Broken-Hearted Mage. So I'm gonna, if you watch this already, which I assume, I'm gonna skip over a lot of the introspection that Rudeus is gonna have during all of this, and we're just gonna focus on the overarching what's happening to Rudeus as he goes along, and then we could delve deeper inside. The episode begins with Rudeus riding in the back of a wagon with several other people. He himself is entirely silent, except for sighing like way too many times, which prompts 2 other characters to address him. Those characters being Susanna and Sarah. They're adventurers. Suzanne, oh god, why did I write Suzanne in my notes? Suzanne is trying to strike up a conversation with Rudeus, warning, hey, where you going? Do you know about the dangers of the land? And Rudeus is like avoiding answering the questions, really answering questions back. And Sarah's like, hey, she's trying to help. She's trying to answer she's trying to, do things, help you out. Stop being rude. Rudeus then reveals like, hey, okay, I'm looking for my mother who disappeared during the Vitola Mana disaster. Which explains a lot for all the other characters. And they're like, okay. So Suzanne's like, okay, hey, I'm gonna give you some information on lands ahead, just to help you out. I was like, all right, cool. So now we know we're in the northern lands. There's a lot of poor countries, except for 3 of them. The 3 great magical nations. There's the Kingdom of Renoa, which excels at training mages. There's the Duchy of Neris, which produces great magical implements. And the Duchy of Barashent, that specializes in arcane research. They were all 3 of those places formed an alliance to help further and advance magic. Cool. We get into town, and Suzanne and Sarah reunite with their party, where Rudeus himself goes alone to an inn to rent himself a room for the month. He soaks in his room for a brief moment, but he gets to go to the Adventurers Guild, where he needs to officially disband his party. It's a rough process for him, but he does eventually get it done. Goes to the job board, picks out a job, and he just wants to work alone. He doesn't want to talk much of anything. He does have a particular moment where he needs to place his hand into a small satchel. We'll get back to that. Suzanne rolls up and helps Rudeus out. It's like, hey, you got a bad look in you. I don't like the look of it. Come with us with our party. Counter arrow. Cool. We go upstairs. We meet the other members. We get a rundown what Rudeus is vaguely able to do, like his role in the party. Cool. Next day, meet everyone at the gate. We head out. And now we get to learn of the other members of Counter Arrow. Or we learn all the members officially. So Suzanne, sub-leader and frontline fighter. Timothy, the actual leader and a mage specializing in long-range magical attacks. Mimir is the healer. Treese fights up front with Suzanne. and Sarah fights at mid-range with the bow. Cool, rounded out party. Closer to that night, the party discusses their plans to take out the Lesser Grizzlies, their quest. They review their combat strategy, and it's solid. Nice basic plan. Rudeus starts asking questions. Shara shoots them all down, telling, hey, Rudeus, just shut up, sit down, follow orders, and we're all good. Night hits. A party spots the Grizzlies. Timothy begins blasting the Grizzlies. Rudeus talks them with the mud. Cool. Everything's going according to plan. Everything's calm. Everything's kosher. Rudeus notices something, though. Puts his ear to the ground, starts listening. And over the horizon, black grizzlies covered in mud start charging the group. And while it looks like the other party members spring away, Rudeus, he himself just almost accepts his death. But Suzanne blocks the attack coming from him. And it's just a nice, well cohesive party, just helping each other out, fighting, defending, landing some blows, taking sums. It's really cool. It's really amazing. No one's running and they're working in tandem. This sort of lights a spark into Rudeus as he steps forward after there's a break in the action. He summons a giant fireball, incinerates the remaining grizzlies. When morning rises, it's the party. They're just skinning the grizzlies. And Suzanne thanks Rudeus, and they finally have a proper handshake. And Rudeus actually smiles. After that, the party brings everything back, celebrates, giving everyone in the guild a round of drinks. And the final scene is Rudeus himself trying to pull himself together, remembering why he's living, remembering why he's doing what he's doing right now, and remembering the lessons that he learned in the beginning from Roxy. He burns Eris's bundle of hair, and the episode ends. As per one of you in the comments said, this is really, truly the beginning of the depression arc. And I am very muted on this. I'm very middle of the road. I will not lie to all of you. During episodes 1 and 2, we had some nice moments, those mainly being the fight scenes and the action. But other than that, I was simply just leaning back in my chair, taking everything in, and really trying to understand why these things are happening. Why is Rudeus like this? And I understand why he's depressed and in the state. This is following after episode 23, when Eris left him to go off on her own adventure, and him going through the motions in that episode of trying to really pick himself back up and take that first step. Also remember, in that episode, he did say the line, people don't just change. This is not him just changing. This is him truly struggling with having everything and then everything just being taken away from him. Or everything just naturally leaving in some regards. He's being cold. He's being dismissive. He's not really taking in help from anybody else. He's trying to do everything alone. And in that moment where the Grizzlies attacked him, and he just seemingly gave up. And beforehand, he's just trying to he's not trying to find a reason to die, but he's trying to wondering, why am I still living? Does anything I'm doing matter? He's not making any kind of progress or doing anything. Yet he still had that one goal of finding Zenith, his mother. But even then, he's still really struggling. And I gotta say this, I am glad it is not a quick fix for him. It's slow. It's rough. The things that he's doing to really come out of it alone by himself, it's good. It's nice. What's in his satchel that he's holding on to? It's Roxy's panties. Is that a perverted thing? Sure, but it's his only thing that's really keeping him grounded and sane and really thinking alive. In that moment in the guild where it almost like he had a heart attack or he was panicking, he had to reach into it and find his safe place, his safe like object, his rock, his sense of self, his grounded. He has to be grounded in order for him to go along. Each and every time he reaches into that satchel to grab Roxy's like panties, he has to center himself because he's still struggling with things. And it's crazy. It's a beautiful moment at the end of the episode where he's burning Eris's like hair bundle to truly be like, I don't need to think about Eris anymore. This is like holding me back. I need to like refocus myself. I need to understand, why am I doing these things? I should not be throwing my life away like this. Why am I saying these things? It's good. It's good. I like where they're going with this. The length of it is the question for me. Even though it sounds backwards that I'm saying he's taking the time for it, I think it really comes into question more in episode 2. But for right now, this first episode, really good. But unfortunately, between having episode 0 be this bright, colorful palette that we see, and we're having fun with Sylphie and Ariel and the things and the intrigue, that's cool and all. This is still like in the realm of season 1. We then cut that. Season 2, beginning, actual first episode, depression, darkness, muted color palette. We're in the snow, we're in the blizzard, we're struggling. We're trying to find a reason to live. It does not help to jump from 0 to 1 in that instance. Would much rather have us start with episode 1, so we're truly, okay, this is a tone we're looking for. This is a setting we're doing. All right, Rudeus, we're here with you. I'm sorry I talked too long. But go ahead.
No, you're completely fine. You're hitting all the nails on the head perfectly, right? Like I mentioned earlier, it would have been nice if Crunchyroll maybe had 2 separate sections between season 1 and season 2 for those 2 OVA episodes, and that would have really tempered our expectations regarding these things, right? But that's here nor there. I still really enjoyed this episode despite what it does for my expectations, right? I do want to start with the very important thing of Rudeus sleeping with Eris's hair, right? I think when I first saw him go into the satchel, I thought he was grabbing for that. So the reveal that it was actually Roxy's panties actually did sort of throw me for a loop.
Same.
Both in the shock factor and in like the sentimental value it holds, right? As weird as that's gonna say.
It's so it really solidifies what Eris means to Rudeus and what Roxy means to Rudeus. And okay, it's like this, right? Eris is the main sole reason, possibly, like at a glance, why Rudeus is like this. This person who was with me this whole entire time, who gave me that one night, who I thought I was going to be with for a long time, just upped and left, cut that connection. What did I do wrong? Why am I living? Roxy, on the other hand, way into the beginning, this is my teacher, this is my mentor, this is who helped me get out of my grind. 2 complete different figures of influence for him, which really paints Roxy into this picture of the best person for him rather than Eris. Eris is something that he is chasing. Roxy is something that he can idolize.
Yo, word. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I think Roxy was the first person to teach Rudeus how to live as a person, right? So like him holding on to the panties as a reminder of that was awesome. Like you mentioned earlier, I love that he did burn Eris's hair. The last thing she left him. The last thing she left her as her old self, right? So like that's him letting go of Eris completely. How do you feel about the comparison Rudeus makes of Sarah to Eris, right? He implies it all throughout his time meeting her. I don't see what he sees. Do you think he's just imprinting like the image of Eris over her just because she's a little abrasive?
It could be both. It could be both. But Sarah does have similar Eris-isms. Yes, she's aggressive. Yes, she is telling off Rudeus. Yes, she's young. She's opinionated and everything. She's spunky. She's got that aggressiveness to her. That's pretty much it. I mean, this is more in episode 2, but this is probably the reason why Rudeus connects more with Sarah than any other member of Counter Arrow.
That's kind of true, huh? Like, it takes just a little bit of aggression to make Rudeus sort of wake up and even engage with these people, which I thought was pretty cool. Even though Suzanne was doing her best, she was just like, hey, I can make an offer, I can give you all the information, we can hang out, we can do all this stuff, it'll be cool, right?
I feel so bad for Suzanne, man, to deal with Rudeus in this state. It's like somebody trying to help someone who actually is depressed, like come out of the slump, like, hey, I know some things that might help you. Hey, I know you're kind of down, but can you like come with me so I can help you get out of your slump? Hey, you don't have to be this way. Like, even Rudeus says, I know you're trying to, like, in his mind, it's like, I know you just pity me, but you kind of need the help, man. And Suzanne is really just a golden child of just trying to help you out. She probably like has that intuition of, yeah, this guy is gonna like probably go off and kill himself at some point. Let me at least attempt to show him that it's not all that bad. It almost happened, but
No, for real. Let's see. I think the only other thing I wanted to ask you about this one specifically, there is a point where Timothy, the leader of, I forgot what it was called, something Arrow.
Counter Arrow.
Was it Stowed Arrow? Counter Arrow. They mentioned that they had a teacher who was once able to cast silently, like Rudeus.
Mm-hmm.
And Rudeus at that point, he's doing the thing where it's like, oh, yeah, thank you for the compliment, but my skills won't help my people stay alive. And they're just staring off in the distance. Rudeus is walking away. Timothy, who's your master, bruh? That's supposed to be really rare in this setting.
Yeah, we don't know anybody else. We don't know anybody else, man. So, foreshadowing that we meet this person, hopefully. That's all I got.
Definitely. Same here.
You know what? Let me I think I said this in season 1 at some point, but this really irks me so much. Rudeus, you're a Saint class water mage. You sure do know a lot of earth spells.
Oh my gosh. I think, God, what is... Rudeus is just a generalist, I think. Who is giving out, like, the levels, right? Does Roxy like...
said you are a Saint class level, water level mage. And every single time in season 1, he gets that title. Saint class water mage, Saint class water mage, Saint class water mage. Why is he still doing Earth style Dark Swamp? Why is he still raising rock walls? Why is he still shooting off rock pellets? He's even using fire spells. He knows healing magic. The only water things he does is helping using the water for the ox to drink it. He cast a water ball when he was young, and then a water jet stream also when he was young. He knows that big cumulus cloud spell. He also used that in the village. That is it. Yet he does more earth stuff than water. He does fire. He did that big purple one. Bro.
Hey, bro, you know how it is. You watched Avatar, right? We've all watched Avatar.
Yeah.
Name one waterbender who's won anything. And yes, this is Katara slander specifically, bro.
Yo. Hey, you might just get shot by the Avatar fans at this point.
No, for real, for real, for real. This is just rage bait. Calm down, please, bro. Don't kill me.
But it is true. Listen, it probably really does not matter in the grand scheme of things, but let's be honest. You give me the title of Saint Class Water Mage, I need to see some good water stuff, man.
This is a W nitpick. I like it.
Speaking of nitpicks, man, episode 2, The Force in the Dead of Night. So, what's going on here? Rudeus, he's happy? Yeah, he's working out. He's spending months in the town, building up his reputation, taking on jobs. He's getting buff, and he's hoping that, with all of this, when word reaches Zenith, maybe he'll get contacted. Cool. He also has a shrine dedicated to Roxy's paintings. We'll get to that. In the Adventurers Guild, he spots a dude saying, "Step ladder will be clearing the snowdrake infestation out of Ilbron Cave. That'll matter." And when he passes by Rudeus, he gives him a look. Nothing too serious just yet. We also learn that people call Rudeus Quagmire.
Oh my god.
So much for being a Saint Class Water Mage, huh, Rudeus?
The shock when I heard that name.
All good. It's not really like a negative name or whatsoever. It's just, his nickname in the Adventuring Guild. We also get a glimpse into his daily life during the intro. He just taking simple jobs, requests. He does some magic here and there, and he's generally well liked. As Rudeus is about to go to the guild to report his request he's doing, Sarah's outside saying, "Hey yo, Counter is about to take a job, and you want in?" Rudeus, he's slow to answer, but it doesn't matter because Suzanne comes in and, "Hey Rudeus, we're about to go take a job. You want to come with?" And next scene, hey, the party is heading into a cave where there is the Gao ruins. It's a place that was built as a fortress during the first human-demon war. Cool lore. The party is there to collect the snowdrake scales that fall in the cave. And the cave itself essentially is like a nest for the snowdrakes. So there's a large, and Suzanne says to watch out for the snowdrakes. So while they're collecting, there's a large statue in the back of a very familiar character, the great demon emperor Kish Kish. Huh, interesting. Then there's some roars and rumbles as the snowdrakes come out of the woodworks and they start to chase after the party. As they're doing so, Rudeus attempts to delay the snowdrakes with his earth and magic once again, and also some icicles, but he can't really delay them too much. And though it seems like he's alone as the party kind of dips past, the party was actually taking up proper positioning to better attack the snowdrakes. And while they're fending off, in the middle of the fight, Step Ladder, the guy from before, or at least the guild party, comes in, crashing in, and the two groups work together to finish the job. There is then discourse about why Counter Arrow is there, killing snowdrakes. And as Rudeus kind of mentions that the other party was supposed to clear out the snowdrakes in the Ilbron Cave, a place that was far away from the ruins, somehow those places are two connected. That makes sense. And after Timothy realizes the situation, he steps forward, explains everything, and it's all kosher. It's cool. Everybody comes to an understanding. There's no need for any name calling or any strife. At the guild, the party, Counter Arrow, celebrates with drinks. Good talk all around. But as we all know, everything can't be happy, especially in this arc, because the leader for Step Ladder drunkenly rolls up to the party. And it's not that bad. At first, he's cool. He's like, sorry and for what I did in the cave, and he apologizes. Then he talks smack about Timothy's passiveness, and that's fine and all. But then he locks onto Rudeus, and he rips into Rudeus, and he soul reads him hard. Yo, why are you like this? why are you smiling? It's not even like it's a game or anything. And through his drunken like stupor, he is like questioning Rudeus's like emotional state. Like, hey, we're out here risking our lives to get money. What are you doing here? And he's kind of right in some aspects. And somehow it's also supposed to be a way to light a fire in the Rudeus to get him out of the slump. But unfortunately, he's kind of like pulled back and pulled away. After the scene is a jump cut, I guess. Time passes. We don't know how much time passes. But Counter Arrow just returns to the guild and they're missing 2 members. Mimir and Sarah are declared dead. But there's a correction that Mimir is confirmed to be dead, but Sarah got separated. And they don't know where Sarah is. They got attacked by a herd of snow buffalo, and the party just kind of split from there. So, Rudeus gears up and goes after them. Getting to the location is just a silent murder fest, as he is simply just destroys and kills whatever snow buffaloes are there. And he goes over to the bone pile left by the snow buffaloes. He sees what remains or what's left of Mimir, and he finds an accessory that belongs to Sarah, but not her body. He properly burns Mimir's body. In the process of him thinking, he gets ambushed by this tree that has these arms that kind of wrapped around him. He escapes the grasp of the tree, or the attempted grasp, and he spots Sarah encased in this injured tree. Goes in, rescues her, and everything's cool. He retreats to the cave. Rudeus then heals her up, and after a small, supposed to comedic scene, he reveals that Mimir is dead to her. So, after that, time passes, the blizzard dies down, and they're allowed to leave the cave. And Sarah, at the end of it, thanks Rudeus for saving her. And then Rudeus says like, now he himself feels like he's been saved. When they reunite with Counter Arrow outside the gates, there's a little bit of discourse from Suzanne, but she recenters herself and says, yo, thank you for saving Sarah. And also Timothy does so as well. Both groups kind of split off, and Rudeus returns to the inn. This episode is a continuation of the depression arc, and we're really kind of solidifying in this, as he's not changing just yet. It's a slow change, and there's peaks and valleys to this, right? You would think at the end of the first episode, you would think like, oh, okay, he's kind of back to himself. In the beginning of this episode, you think like, oh, okay, he's kind of fine. No, he still has that underlying factor into it. He might be okay after burning Eris's like hair, but there are still things holding over onto him. As when anybody mentions like his situation, that being Stepladder's leader, Stepladder?
Yeah.
Well, the stepped party, the leader, when he ripped into Rudeus, that put Rudeus out of commission for the rest of that undisclosed amount of time. And I gotta say, man, he's kind of right. Well, at the same time, I don't know if, man, I'll say
no, I'm not gonna lie to you.
Episode 2 is just a little bit weird.
Yeah, okay. So I disagree. That boy was not right.
Understandable.
Stepladder's party leader, I feel like, and this is where the weirdness comes in for me. Like, I see where the narrative intent is for that sort of like aggressive pushing, right? But I feel like the reason it comes up doesn't really hold up, right? Like, I'm cool for him looking like Paul and being drunk and also berating him in the same way that Paul did back in another bar at a different tavern, right? That sort of builds this, not exact parallel, but a familiar feeling, right?
Mm.
But I think this guy has, like, no right to talk to Rudeus like that, right? I think he was just venting for anything purely as a narrator voice, right? And I get at the end, Stepladder's party leader says like, "Why do you turn down money for notoriety? We need money to live, you know." Right? Like, is Rudeus stealing all the jobs? That could be like a thing, right? But you got to lead with that. You can't be like, "Oh, this kid looks so miserable and he thinks he's better than us." Like, bro, he doesn't know you. There's no reason for you to be this aggressive, right?
He's drunk. He's allowed to do whatever he wants.
That's kind of ass, bro. That's why we hate Paul Gray.
But no, dang, that's a nice connection. I'm not gonna lie to you. Yeah. Even Rudeus says like, you know, hey, I wonder if Paul was like this when he was young. So yeah, he does have like a similar look to Paul, and yeah, he did get berated by him. Shoot.
I guess maybe what I should take away from this scene is that Rudeus takes this berating a lot better than the first time he got one from Paul, right? And maybe that's growth. But I think the guy just had no legs to stand on. I don't care if he was drunk. I don't care if the narrator really needed this to happen. It doesn't really work for me. At that point, it feels just like pandering, right? Or like, oh, we have a show to do. Let's just get it over with. You know what I mean?
I get you. But what if this is not so... Well, I get you that Rudeus can take it better. But this is a different set of circumstances to where, well, they won't know what Rudeus is like really going through. Maybe this berating is... I think it was mentioned in the episode. It was supposed to light a fire in Rudeus to like really pull him back up. But I don't know if it's warranted or... It's so difficult to talk about because this is really like our first time of really seeing our supposed hero really down on his knees, dragging himself through the mud. We thought we were good, but I guess we're not good. We're still struggling. He's still praying to Roxy's panties with a shrine, which is okay. I'll say this: while it looks bad, this is a call out to every single one of you who has a shrine in their room or in a different room or in their closet of whatever anime character or series that you like. You know this. This is you.
Damn, dude. Just kill him.
Maybe not in like the depressed sense, but you do have this with you. So if you're like, oh, it's weird that he's like praying to these pansies. Well, stop praying to that Gundam model that you have in your shrine over there with all of those pictures and surrounding it. You don't have a right to talk about it.
Damn, dude.
I'm joking. Don't shoot me.
I think I'll personally make my peace with the episode right here. Let's see here. I think that sequence in particular is going to be the only thing I have like a big issue with, right? And I think all of it is forgiven, specifically because MC through days is like, yeah, okay, I've kind of been half-assing it. Like, that guy was kind of right? So, like, even if I have, like, a problem with it narratively, right, Rudeus accepts it in character as a fact. I think that's also an issue to take with it, because it's just, like, not very nuanced, and he just, like, accepts it because he has to. But I think that's just is what it is, you know?
So here's, I got two other things. We'll start with the small one. As we kind of pull away from this, statue of the Great Demon Emperor Kish Kish. That's surprising that we get this reveal, right? That it's a that's probably our first iteration of the Great Demon Emperor, and because it's in a place to where it was where we had the fortress of the first human demon war. Kind of cool world building. I kind of wish we had more information so I can have like a better like appreciation for it. But for right now, it's like a cool little like reference that they're doing for right now. Unless maybe it has some kind of bigger implication later on. Or maybe it's just like telling us of the world in like little snippets. That's probably it. but I'm kind of hoping there's more because we are actively seeing Kish Kish do things, help things, and we are within like another incarnation of her. So I kind of want more from here, if there is more.
Definitely. I wonder if we will see her this season.
We need to, because
Need to or want to?
both. There is a need because this is probably like a far shot. We saw the statue, so at some point she does have to show up. And secondly, she is in good faith with Rudeus. Hey, call me anytime you want. So maybe we get that again. I don't know. Maybe, she travels to the Northlands for some reason. I don't know. It's kind of like my call shot. If we see her, awesome. If we don't, world building, I guess. Well, my second thing, coming back to Counter Arrow, this is a clean slate, but this is like a very struggling clean slate that Rudeus is struggling with. We don't have Rudert, we don't have Eris. Our party's gone. We now have this new temporary party, Counter Arrow, where we have these people coming in with us, with Rudeus. Here's a very, very scary thing. That scene in the cave, and then the ending sequence of Sarah saying something unspoken, but you can kind of figure it saying like thank you or I love you. If in the upcoming episodes we get a point to where Sarah starts to fall for Rudeus or Rudeus starts to fall for Sarah, it's going to be very, for like a better way to say it, depressing for either character, because now we're looking at a replacement for Eris.
Oh my gosh. I don't think so, bro. I think Rudeus would recognize like what he's doing with Sarah in that case. Actually, no. I don't know that at all. He might actually just give in. He might fold instantly.
He was giving her some looks in that cave, I'll tell you that.
Oh god.
And she is slowly falling for him, or at least getting really used to him, as Eris did. It's a scary parallel. It's not the same. There are some key differences, but we are slowly falling into a trap. And maybe this is the author trying to paint a very tough time that anybody that's struggling with depression or anybody struggling with loss, is that they are going to go through every single stage of grief in every single situation possibly that they're going through. You lost everything. What can you do? Can you get things back? No. Any help or any positivity that you get, you're either A, gonna snuff it out, or B, not really think of it as positivity and just let it go to the wayside. At any point you see something that is similar to the situation that you had before, you might lash onto it, you might grab onto it, and you might hold it to you. But maybe it's not worth the same and it's not enough, you discard it. Or some reason or another. or probably at worst, you get what was similar and you treat it as what it was before, and then you spiral into like some disillusionment of what you had before and what you have now, and you confuse things with everything that's going on, and you lose sight and you lose focus of what you're trying to do.
Ironically, against all odds and genre restrictions, I think Mushoku Tensei would actually do it really well.
Mm-hmm. So, I don't know. We don't know how far we're going to go with this depression thing. I hope not too far, because there's only so much sadness that I can take within the beginning of a season. you need to put some. We need some shine. You give me Sylvie back, please. Like I'm gonna need that sun to shine. I'm gonna need something good to happen.
Soon, Soren, soon. Apparently, they have an idea where he is, based on the end of last season.
They know where Zenith is,
or not Zenith. Or I guess Sylphie knows that Rudeus is alive. I think word will reach Sylphie pretty soon.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, they are in the same region, so at some point they'll cross each other. Ooh, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you. When back in episode 1, when they were attacked by the Grizzlies, I swear to you, I thought to myself, one of these guys are gonna die. Oh, they didn't die. Cool. Episode 2, one of them dies. Let's go.
Oh my gosh. Actually, that whole sequence was really cool because it's like you have the rule of threes here, right? In episode 2, Sarah says like, oh, sometimes when adventuring parties get overwhelmed, they'll just lead the like person who's in the most danger, right, to preserve the rest of the group, right? First time it happens with the bears, everybody's like, okay, there's no way out. We gotta thug this out. Let's fight it, right? Rudeus slacks. He does whatever, right? Inevitably, he finishes the rest of the encounter by himself, right? Second time, same deal. Rudeus actually is left behind temporarily, but everybody comes back for him, right? And then the third time, without Rudeus, they actually do have to leave Sasha and Mimir, right? I thought that was pretty neat, foreshadowing that with the pretty much immediately after paying it off.
Last thing I'll say about Mimir and the Sasha, I do not like that jump cut to that scene because that's a very I don't know how much time has passed, and B, I don't know the stipulations of the time. Maybe actually it kind of makes sense because we're following Rudeus, and Rudeus is not privy to the information what Counter Arrow is doing, but it just feels so terrible that Mimir got killed off screen. I mean, even though he's like a secondary character and like all that, it's like, I don't know. It was kind of foreshadowed because, as Suzanne said, like in episode 1, it's like, hey, Sarah, at some point you're gonna be like venturing out with other people at some point, so you need to learn to work with other people. It's like, huh? Are we gonna disband? No, not really. Well, we disbanded one member, I'll tell you that. Yeah, I got nothing else on this.
Yeah, I'm all set. Solid episodes.
Yeah, I mean, despite how critical we were, these were good episodes. 0 is, of course, my favorite. 1 is a nice setup to how season 2 is told. And episode 2 is like we get fleshed out a little bit more with the characters and how Rudeus is like handling things. And ooh, Sarah, I'm sorry, girl. I'm sorry you had to get in contact with Rudeus where he is right now. But with that being said, everybody in the comments below who you've made it this far to this point, or if you're already commented, hey, how you doing? Comment down below. Tell us what y'all think about season 2 thus far and what we talked about, and even a little bit more about season 1 and the structure of how all the episodes came together and everything. Like, again, appreciate any comments and insights that you guys have, and we will be season 2, not as a strong start as season 1, but we're along for the ride.
Yeah, excited for it. Can't wait to see what else it has in store for us.
With that being said, y'all, hope all of you have a good day, night, evening, morning, wherever you are in the world, and I hope your day is just a little bit better than it already is. With that, we'll catch y'all in the next episode. Peace.
See ya.